Basically, I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of touring and performing, and the Lord has really been maturing me spiritually, doing a lot of new things in my life. And of course, I signed with Sparrow in April of '91, and so that's a I'm very excited about that, and with the relationship with the new company, and very excited about it. I think there's a lot of crossing over, a lot of emphasis on crossing over, and not enough emphasis on reaching and ministering to people's spirits and their souls. And on this particular album, what I'm trying to do is really minister to people's spirits and encourage them through my music and bringing them closer to God. So I think that one of the things that I did was sort of return to the basic church idiom, and I did quite a bit of church music, church type music. That varies. Jackie Ruffin, who is the only original member, other than myself, of the Smallwood Singers, has been with me for 15 years. Caroline Evans has been with me approximately 12 years. Um, Darlene Simmons has been with me for about 5 years. Dennis Sawyers has been with me for about a year and a half. Patty Teagle has been with me about a year, something like that. My bass player Tim Lindsay has been with me for about 14 years. My drummer Garfield Williams is the newest member. He's been with me for about 9 or 10 months, something like that. And my keyboard player Darren Atwater, about 9 or 10 months. Well, it's nothing that I consciously did. My upbringing was very different as far as the musical influences that were around me. I came up. My dad was a Baptist minister, and so I was exposed to hymns, gospel music, anthems, that type of thing. My mother, when I was about 8 years old, exposed me to classical music. So I came up listening to both styles, the classical as the gospel and the anthems and the hymns, as well as R&B and jazz and all the stuff the kids listen to when they're in school. And then I went on to go to Howard University, where I majored in piano as a classical piano major. So the classical idiom had a very large influence on my playing, on my writing, on my whole musical ability. So it's nothing I really consciously sat down and tried to do. It just sort of happened that way. And when I began to write, a lot of those influences that I was exposed to as a kid just happened to come out. So I didn't really plan it. Well, I think that 90% of the music on this album has to do with uh, what God has done for me, what He is in my life, who He is, how great He is, and the whole theme of the album tends to talk about a testimony aspect of what God is and how great He is, and that's basically how it came up. Well, my dad, who passed back in '71, was a great influence on me. He was not only a minister, but he was a musician as well, pianist, and he sang. And he wrote this song called "Twill Be Sweet" when it may have been before I was born. I really don't know when he wrote it. I just remember hearing it all of my childhood coming up. And of course, my dad was a staunch traditionalist. So it's very old timey type, Southern type Baptist song. And when I turned about 23 or 24, I guess, I was at a church, the last church he founded before he died, which was called Union Temple Baptist Church. And I decided to take that song and sort of revamp it, keep its traditional flavor, but sort of update the chords and the progressions and the harmonies and stuff, and do this song called, a rearrangement of this song called "Twill Be Sweet." And that's what I did. And on this particular album, I decided I wanted to do it and dedicate it to his memory. And I called all of the old choir members from the Union Temple Choir that were there when we used to sing it years and years ago, and they came back in the studio and we sort of recreated what we did back in the early 70s. So that was it was a blessing. It was a blessing. I'm very excited about that particular song. And of course, the other gentleman who was probably one of the greatest musical influences on my life is Andre Crouch. And that was probably one of the most exciting experiences that I've ever had, writing with Andre. I think I was in LA for about 4 or 5 days I just spent with Andre writing. And not only was it inspiring writing with him, but it also was inspiring just absorbing the wisdom that he had, all of the experiences that he had gone through, some of the things that I have gone through or I am going to go through, he has already done, and he was a wealth of information as far as advice and experience. And of course, I'm very excited about the song, which is called "The Light," which we wrote together. And so I'm very excited about those two things. Well, "Twill Be Sweet" definitely has to be one of my favorites because it's my dad's song and it means a lot to me. "His Mercy Endureth Forever" is one of my favorite songs. Taken from Psalm 118, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good." And simply because I think the mercy and the grace and the goodness of God continues to amaze me, how he just continues to bless in spite of our shortcomings, in spite of our faults. He just looks beyond that and continues to bless us, and that song really means a lot to me. Um, what he's done for me, which is a pure testimony song. You don't know like I know what the Lord has done for me, is a favorite of mine simply because it simply states that he's real in my life, that he's done great things, that he continues to amaze me, just like the other song, "His Mercy Endureth Forever." He just continues to amaze me the way he blesses and blesses and blesses. And there's a song, an arrangement of a hymn called "Jesus, Lover of My Soul," which is combined with Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring from Johann Sebastian Bach, one of his cantatas, that inspires me. That particular song was an arrangement of a young lady who was a great influence in my life, Dr. Pearl Williams Jones, who passed last year. She was a great musician and a great mentor, and I sort of dedicated this particular arrangement to her. And I love that hymn, "Jesus, Lover of My Soul, let me to thy bosom fly." So I think those are four of my favorites. It's hard to pick, but if I had to, I think those four would be the top four. The secret of my success is doing God's will for my life.